Okay, we'll go to Rahul now. Also, just everyone's information will be extending by 10 to 15 minutes. So we have till around 6:15 or so. But please, if we can, everyone can be quick. We'll go to Rahul and then Pranav and then everyone else online and then anyone else on the floor. Rahul, please.
Hi. Yeah. Hi, I'm Rahul. I'm an environmentalist working in Germany. So my question is more not on the pitch side, like how we perform or something, but rather on the culture. So I want to give some context into it. Like what other culture does the club wants to promote than football? Yeah, football is one big thing, but apart from that, like for example, like the Forest Rangers having a green sustainability issue, or like Bilbao, Atletico Bilbao is a club for the Basque country. Yes, I know that it's a club for Kerala, but also from the big some of the points that I heard, like if we are moving out, for example, of Kochi, then how can we say that we have a culture for ourselves, like something like a group of people can associate with? For me, like why I support Kerala Blasters is it's home. It's my home club. Like I support other clubs, but still, when I look back, it's something that I can fall back, and it's my home. Like it's something that I say it's my own. I can't say like some UK club or some club in Europe as my own, because I never be there as myself. Like I'm also always outsider. So what kind of culture do you think we can promote, or do the club have an idea of how we are promoting some other culture other than football?
Hi, Rahul. Thanks for the question. But just to allay your fears, we're not going outside Kerala. We'll be within Kerala only. The name of the club
Okay.
is Kerala Blasters. It's not Kochi Blasters. So we feel that wherever within Kerala, we find an answer to most of our solutions. I'm not saying this will happen, but this is something we have to think of given the realities on ground at the moment. But yeah, so I I think the word culture has to be. I would use a different phrase for it, because culture, every state or every hotspot of football in India. For example, if you look at Bengal, you look at Goa, Kerala, Northeast, Punjab, right? These would, in my opinion, be the main hotspots for football. Culture is driven by the people, not by the club, always. And a club becomes a reflection of what the culture in that state is. I'll give you an example. Now, if you look at Kolkata and you look at the two clubs that have been there for around more than 100 years, there is a culture of father to son. That is how these clubs have this huge fan bases, because it is something that from 100 years ago, people are bringing their children, then they bring their children. It runs in their blood. This rivalry, this love for football runs in their blood. That's a culture that they have. Goa, for example, Goa is a state that has always produced players with flair. Some lazy, but with flair. You can see that reflected in their everyday life, how they behave, how people are, how they communicate, how they approach things. That is reflected in their football. So culture comes from the people. So for me, Kerala, the culture is passion, right? Whether it is negative or positive, it is passion. You can never deny that people of Kerala are passionate, not only with respect to football, with respect to food, with in my time, right? What I've observed here, with respect to movies, with respect to politics, everything is passionate. People like to debate. People have an opinion. They have a voice. They have a viewpoint, right? They're educated. So for me, that is culture. Then to maybe, I think what you meant to do was, as a club, what do we stand for? That's, I think, what you want to ask. What do we stand for as a club? What does Kerala Blasters stand for?
Yeah.
Kerala Blasters has to stand for three things, I feel. As a club, we have to stand for, the first thing that we have to stand for is being one of the leading bodies in Indian football. Goes without saying, a club with this size of fan base and the expectations and the size needs to be at the forefront of Indian football. So it has to strive for excellence on and off the pitch, right? That's one. Number two, it has to be a club that is present in other walks of society as well. That is what I referred to in my bit when I spoke about community initiatives, right? Apart from the football, there have to be causes that we support. Now, I would like to find out what the people of Kerala are passionate about in terms of causes. They can be social issues. I'm just giving an example: women empowerment. It can be, I don't know, dog adoption drives. I don't know. I'm just giving examples. What is the state passionate about? Are there any causes, or are there any social evils we can help with? We can campaign for. We can use our players. We can use our voice to amplify that and bring it to the attention of everybody, because the one thing that this club guarantees you is eyeballs. If we can use that for good causes, for causes that the state would want us to do, or as fans you would want to promote, or anything that you want to highlight, I feel as a club we should be responsible enough to ensure that we are one of you when it comes to highlighting those issues, right? And finally, I always feel Kerala should always stand for the passion that you guys have. So everything that we do in all walks has to be passionate. It cannot be dry. The one thing with KBFC is, even if you're doing well, even if you're not, it's always exciting, good or bad. I think that needs to also reflect in a lot of things, in how we do our social media, in how we communicate, in what is our how do we express that on the pitch. It has to be exciting, it has to be passionate. So as a club, I would like Kerala Blasters to stand for these three things. I'm sure there's a common resonance also, and the idea is to make sure that these values then shine through in whatever we are doing. There has to be, like I said, club above everything. We have to put this beyond what we feel. Okay, what I feel is good for my career, what someone else feels is good, that's all secondary. The club has to be fulfilling these objectives for it to be viewed not only by all of you, but as an example by people outside, to say, okay, these guys are beacons of these things, and that's why we respect them.
So, Muk, if you could just make it very quick, and then Rahul, if you're done, we can pass it on.
Yeah, I'm done. That's a pretty nice answer. Also something that I want to do in this club. Also like to
Oh,
do stuff.
brilliant, brilliant.
Thanks. Very nice. Thank you.
Quick.
Yeah, Abhik, now biggest threat in Kerala is drug abuse. So I suggest if you can take something very soon, a campaign on something that will at least help a few people.
Okay, so noted on those 2 points, Somo, in terms of the social media and this and many other things as well. Pranav will come to you now.
Hey guys, how are you? Good. How are you doing? I'll give a quick introduction. My name is Pranav, and I'm originally from Ernakulam. Um, I'm a professional chef who's based in Barcelona. I just had two quick questions. One is about the retention of core players, because I have seen in the past years that retaining has been a problem for us. Of course, there will be things happening inside the clubs, which of course fans are not aware about, sometimes not communicated well. Uh, all we see, I mean, I can understand this, but to the outside fan, they are only seeing this thank you posts in the social media handles, and they're of course they are frustrated to see that, because their favorite players going off the club after big contributions they have given to the club. That's one thing, and the other thing is that in 15 minutes we'll be wrapping up the conversation. So I would like to know, what do you guys expect us to do? The objectives of the next meeting, so that we could start it somewhere, to have some clear ideas to discuss and then work on it. So that's my two questions.
So I will take question about returning players. Um, yeah, so also not everyone understand one of our, in my reports, one of 5 problems this year why things went back and make job, for example, harder for players. We literally had too many players. We started pre-season with 28-9 players. We entered an ISL with a similar number after every back from injuries. We had around 30 players, which is absolutely crazy number. So this also always need to understand this about the depthness of the squad. You know, yes, you need options, but you cannot have 30 players, and this obviously something my responsibility, because I thought we'll manage to get some loan options end of the August. But it didn't happen. Also, interest didn't came for some players, which we expected end of the August. So we enter season with such amount. Another part, what I want to touch on this, what is difficult to see, and basically we cannot communicate publicly. It works two ways, yeah. One is the club, another is the player. So our job basically, recruitment going, you know, by skills, by your team needs, by quality, by feedbacks, by character, and all these things. But you know, things in life changing, and for example, maybe someone is tired to be here, maybe someone want to make a move, maybe someone has some personal changes in their lives, you know, maybe someone already just 4 or 5 years here and in just a time, because behavior and character start to be toxic. So these things sometimes happens, which we cannot explain publicly, but it's our, like, one of key jobs to notice these situations, who becoming toxic, who doesn't want any more motivation, maybe not the same, and it's time. So it's same about coaches, about players, about everyone. You know, we need people who ready to fight for back, and that's the main point. And I also had experience in my former club, where we were doing good. We won three titles in a row, uh, and when we were too late to refresh the group, you know, that's also going nowhere. So you know, this changes game. It's always finding a balance, and always finding the best, most motivated group who support each other. And this season, what we can expect, it will not be much changes, because basically Indian players, everyone on long-term contracts. So in Indian squad will not be much changes. Couple of new additions, maybe two, three. Three, I hope three important additions, which is not announced yet. And majority who must leave the club already left in January, which also was some things what just must to happen. And about foreigners, it will be some changes, but like not some radical. And we need some reinforcements. We need to be better there. We need more leadership. We need more quality. But surely important part of that group will stay in the team. So that pretty much clear now, after new coach got appointed, and this also will be very soon. We will exactly decide, you know, what kind of profiles we're going now. Now we shortlisting, and later try to finalize as early as possible. So that's some changes, but not drastic one. And also just to add, after such season, I think also changes, it's a must. You know, it has to be. it has to be.
And just to add on to that, Pranav, in terms of like when you mentioned about next steps, I think it'll be good if you guys can amongst yourself divide yourselves into people who take up certain departments, right? So if you have certain questions on sporting topics, if you have questions on fan engagement, somebody can take up community, and then those questions can be put to us. So when we are planning to have the next meeting is sometime before the season, so that we have a time to connect and also look at some of the progress that we would have made in these few months, and then you know, take your opinion. But it will be good if you can split yourself. I know all of you have a lot of questions, but it'll be good if you can split yourself into people who are overlooking certain areas, and then it'll be easier, I think, for all those questions to flow, And also, I think between now and the next session, it'll be great, like we discussed, if you guys can figure out how you want to communicate with the fans. So, like this email, setting up an official handle. These will be good steps to have in place before the next meeting.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, thanks, Pranav. Anyone who has not spoken, Anand Kumar, Sajid, Matthew, online. I know you guys have had your hands up. Okay, Matthew has his hand up. Matthew, please. We have. Can everyone hear? It says the internet is unstable.
Can I hear now, please?
Yeah. Okay, Matthew, please go ahead.
Hi guys, my name is Matthew. I live in UK and work as a lecturer and ECB cricket board umpire as well. So my question is like, FAB collectively came up with these questions just regarding the match day experience. We have some ideas for the next season. If something comes up, is there any financial viability if we suggest something and that can help with the the match day experience?
Okay, Sushain will take this question.
Hi, Matthew. Matthew,
Hi.
more than welcome. Please, whatever your ideas are, you can share it with us, and we'll see the feasibility of what all can be implemented. But obviously, the spectator experience is a very important aspect for match viewing, and so we are open to all the suggestions from your end.
Thank you. It's just because we have a variety of FAB group members from multiple countries, so we watch matches quite regularly. So that was the plan.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Matthew. We have Seren on the floor for everyone online. Seren would like to ask, so we'll give Seren the floor.
Yes, first of all, Abhik and Sushin, you can see the trouble that you have been going through, and it's a tough phase. Feel like giving my shoulder to you. So, but you guys will find ways and means to get over it. A few things that I thought. One is you seem to have a big public relation crisis or a communication crisis at your end. So how have you solved it? Do you have any PR expert or any leading agencies? Yes, it cost you, but do you have anything, or do you have any plans to have it? Because from a PR background, I feel these issues can be solved with a good PR person at your end. Then few suggestions. One was your website have this fan advisory board link. There should be an option to give a contact where people can come to the website and contact FAB in terms of giving their suggestions, and you properly acknowledging the fan who is giving that suggestion then and there itself by an automatic mail or something, and whatever that fan is telling the club through that form, communicating to us, that will be helpful. Then another thing was, this is from the PR background that I was saying, that you seem to have handling a lot of myths and facts. So why don't you start a campaign stating the myths and facts, whatever that you can communicate with the myths that the fans have and the facts that you would like to tell the fans. So single post with having the myths that the fan is holding and what is the fact that the club would like to share. That is one. Then another thing was, you said that there is that father-son relation that the Bengal clubs seem to have. So what are we going to do to bring some culture like that? I bring my family to the stadium, and I feel like I will not bring my family again. So there should be separate areas within the stadium where people can bring their family, where the stags are not allowed, where they can be safe with their kids and their spouses, so, or the partners. So that should be something that can be looked at. Where the concern that I had was, I had to plan to come late to the match. I was not able to bring my kids and family to the stadium well in time. So I start seeing the match late, and then I have to plan getting out of the stadium early. So I'm not able to see the last 10 minutes of the match as well. So there has to be some ways and means this can be addressed. Then, like Somu said, immediately it was clicking. Somu was saying that the social cost, the drugs. What I would say that put into a larger perspective, there are some areas where the Malayalis will take this passion and will not dislike what you say. Take those points. Who will say no to no drugs or a campaign that you say that is fighting against drugs? Nobody will dislike it. Everybody will support it. So largely, I would say that this is a kind of a PR problem. If I can be of help, I will do that through the FAB or anything. But I would like to know you have some plans on the PR front.
So, first of all, Saren, I would like to shake your hand first. Yeah, because this is exactly what we want from FAB. Okay, we want value add, and we've got head of media and PR also just bang opposite you. So maybe you can connect after this. But Saren, 100%, 100% spot on with what you said. I cannot choose to acknowledge that we have a PR problem. And it is something that I was discussing with Manu also a few days back, wherein we absolutely are grappling with a myth versus fact situation. 100%. Now, maybe so far, what has happened is, I'll tell you exactly where we might have gone wrong, or maybe the intention was right, but it didn't pan out that way. We've always felt that, okay, when somebody's slinging mud at you, don't engage. This was our sort of take most of the matters, because how many people can you address into it? I tried to do it personally for a bit, but how many people will you, because when you come out to defend something, even if you're right, nobody wants to listen, right? And nobody cares basically, because it all seems to go into that herd mentality where they're hell-bent on tarnishing anybody who comes in their way. They will not look at who it is or whether this person is telling the truth. That anger or that frustration will wipe everything out. So there has to be, maybe we are failing somewhere, or we need to devise a better strategy to, now that we have had this experience, come out of it in a manner in which, like we said, if there are things we can piggyback on to communicate what we want. And also, I think a couple of great ideas. I think you guys should connect offline also to address this. But 100. So we've discussed some of the things, Saren, just from a point of view as being one of the things I thought would be helpful. I know there was this case, for example, with in the media press conference issue that came up, right? And it was something really small, which was blown out of proportion. Because I think what happened is, I think Arun wasn't there. He had sent his questions, and the what's his name, Purushothaman, decided to end it early because there were just two people sitting, and it finished and he walked off. Nothing that maybe people there could do, and it was just the mood of that moment. But then it was portrayed as the club is gagging reporters. The club is blah, blah, we are now you're suppressing voices. And then you open it and read it, and you're like, what? This is not, it's not that we sit here every day scheming of ways to, irritate people. We've got many other things to do. So how it is perceived is the issue. So maybe we felt at that moment, okay, as a club, the moment something like this happens, we should dispel that myth by providing a quick media release from our side. Something which we wanted to do and we'll do in the future. But I acknowledge what you're seeing, and we have to get much better at this for sure. And we're looking at ways to also, that, like you said, there are some things that we can do where people cannot not disagree with us. So there are certain causes we can support, there are certain things we can do, but all in all, in agreement with you, and also in agreement that this is something very critically important for us to get right ahead of the new season. And there are some things which we're actively working on, but any great suggestions like Sumu gave, like you're giving now, will really help us as well, because we don't claim to know everything. Sometimes we can get, become like a horse with blinkers, because we're focusing on one thing because we're sitting inside the club, but then you guys might have a very unique solution to it looking at it from the outside. So we're very welcome to suggestions.
We just have a few minutes left. I just Ajay, if you can go first.
Thanks for that. An update about the women's team. Abid said it will be, you will know soon. So we would like to have a proper structure, like a timeline. So that would be great for an accountability and thing. And our injury concerns and the training facilities. Any update on that? Because of past few seasons we are having the injury concerns. So we just want to show whether we are working on it. And about the referees, so if most of every club is having some issues with the referees, so do we have any plans for raising the complaints or something like that? And everyone is looking for the, so should I ask like everything together or like?
Okay, I'll stop you there, Ajay. Abhijit first. You can go first. Just your questions. If anything is overlapping, we'll answer it at one go.
Okay. Actually, it's quite repetiting, but I just wanted to have a different perspective of this question. I think Pranav asked this question about retention. Uh, so I feel over the past that a lot of disconnect has happened because there have been players leaving, and I feel we have two such decisions happening every season, wherein two major players or two major personalities from the club leaving from the club, which is creating that disconnect, and that gap is just increasing season over season. So I just have few names. In 2021-22 season, we had Alvaro and Diaz. In 22-23, we had Putia and Sahel. And then 23-24, we had Ivan Vukovic leaving, and then Jigson leaving. In 24-25, we have Rahul leaving. And I don't know who else is leaving in this season. But when I talk to my friends back in Kerala or my relatives back in Kerala, and when I talk to them about Kerala Blasters, to my surprise, a lot of them have stopped following Blasters. It was very hard for me to hear because they say they have nobody to follow because there's no face of the club, because we are losing out on a couple of, let's say, face of the club personalities season after season. I think that is majorly causing a lot of emotional disconnect. So that was my first question, and my question on that was, do we
I'm sorry. I'm just we're really short on time.
Okay.
I'll just take Gokul's here. Gokul, please.
Yeah. So very quickly, thank you. So see the biggest voice that we hear from the fans recently, or the impact that caused, was related to the protest that the fans had. So at some point, there was clear communication from the club inviting a peaceful protest, everything fine in the stadium. But we could see video evidence later soon that this was not the case, but the securities were, taking the placards away or etc. So was there a miscommunication between the club and the actions that were performed there? Or maybe this is an opportunity for you can also, transparently communicate that, hey, something happened and we are, or maybe some guidelines, give them, right? Clearly, okay, this is how you can protest. So we will not have this situation later. Thank you.
Okay. Sajid, if you can give your point, please.
This is Sajid. I'm from Palakkad, working as a MIS regional head in the High Range Rural Development Society. As a part of fan engagement, is there is any option to implement a fan registration in our official website? If there, we should give them or give us a badge or virtual ID card. And after that, for that registered candidates or that registered candidate, we should give some exclusive discount, otherwise exclusive contest. Like that for season ticket holders, we should have some meetup with players, because the situation.
Yeah, the two at the end, please. If you could, do you have any questions?
Hi. First of all, thanks for placing me well here, and I will make it straight and quick. First one, as a PWD representative, can we think of something which can encourage PWD fans, like providing some concession or providing some support, whatever is possible, for their stadium experience in the upcoming season? That is first. Second, as a fan, the fair play stuff throughout the season, when we drive it, the avoidable fair play things as a preventive or corrective measure. Unavoidable circumstances happen during the play, and we will end up with fair play issues. Otherwise, we had few avoidable situations which I personally feel like it resulted in losing points, and those 6 points, if you calculate it, we would have been playoff. So do we have anything in focus as preventive or corrective measure ongoing? I know that this is not objective to answer, but still if we can make a point and try to flag it ongoing, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Saurabh, your question, please.
So we have faced many injuries past few years. So my question is that because of the inefficiency of the fitness team, and how the club is going to solve that issue in upcoming years? And my second question is, can we be a part of fan group also at the same time, being a FAB member and fan group executive member? That's my question.
Okay. Abhijit, if you can sum up in 10 words or less your second point that you had.
Yeah. Second point was regarding the point that actually Rahul made, and then Abik, I heard you said the culture should be driven by the fans. I kind of disagree there, because if a fan wants to be committed to a club, there has to be a human aspect to it. As in, because I work in marketing communications, and I kind of have this research and background of how our audience kind of take a look about a brand. And when I look at certain big clubs like Barcelona or Real Madrid, they have their values, and they have their dedicated web page for their values, and they have yearly campaigns and stuff like that happening around these values. So one such value that Barcelona stands for, which ironically is sustainability. So I was just thinking, Abik, you said sustainability is a word that kind of we hate, but if Barcelona said the same word, everybody would agree to it, because they have kind of their motto, because they care about sustainability aspect as a larger picture. So can we think of certain angles as well, so that we align? Because Kerala Blasters stands for few things. Is one I can think of is sustainability, one I can think of is opportunities, and one I can think of is passion. So can we embed that in all our communication and the way we function at a club? I think that can make a lot of PR difference as well.
Oh, okay, boss. That was a lot more than 10 words, but it's okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Again, no, just a joke. Ajay, is it the same question? I might have to skip you. Sorry. Okay, so I'll just sum this for Sushant, you guys. So then there's women's team is a question. Do you want to just do like rapid fire, Avik? Maybe another. Okay, so first of all, a women's team. Issues about women's.
So, with respect to the women's team, guys, again, I'll give you honest disclosure. When we started the women's team, of course, before my time, but I have information. When the women's team was started, I feel at some point the owners felt that it was a step taken maybe at the wrong time, wherein they could not promise financial commitments to the women's team over a elongated period, right? Because one thing is to start something, and then there is obviously a way wherein there will be expectations, right? So you play the state league, then you go IWL, you win IWL, go into Asia, blah, blah, blah. So there was perhaps a miscalculation of what it could become at that time, right? And of course, there were several other issues that the club suffered financially due to different reasons. So I feel it was a financial commitment that the board at that time could not promise and do. Basis the discussions that we are having now, I'm somebody who is very keen to do it. But obviously, we need to ensure that if something like this happens, it does not again close down after 1 year. It's very easy to do it for 1 year. It's a lot more difficult to sustain this for many, many years. And do it regularly and do it at a level wherein we are seeing progress, not just, stuck at one level and not progressing beyond that. So we are working on ways to ensure that we have financial compatibility for not just one season, beyond. And there are certain discussions that we're having. I cannot give you a timeline, Ajay, because there are no timelines. The answer is that we want to do it, but of course we need to have the financial capability to pull it off, not just 1 year, but year on year. But that is something that is there at the forefront of our heads, which is something we really want to do, but we need to find the ways and resources to successfully do that, right? When we're working on that. I can't give you a date today, right? That's one. Next.
Group these two. Will the club do any initiatives about like PWD and being more accessible and inclusive? And can FAB members be members of fan groups?
Fan members are already, I think a lot of you are members of Manjapada. We've no problem. Not at all. We just wish that you communicate the information transparently. In case you're communicating it, and it should not be manipulated in a way that that derives benefits. So it has to be honest disclosure. We are happy. We have no problem at all. So yes, I think that's actually Sushen, something we can take up. If we can create curated experiences for people with disabilities, I think that will be one thing which obviously will give them a good. Sorry, you wanted to add.
Promote tickets next season. So maybe you can have that
Yes.
as special ramps are available. See, I know that there are special ramps.
Yes.
But most of others don't
Yeah.
know about that. So if we can promote that, that will be a
And also just coming back, Seren, to your point where you mentioned that, and I think that's a valid point in terms of some segregation we have to do so that only families are allowed there. This we will look into, Seren. That's a good point, and obviously we want the fan experience to be safe. And I can get the difficulty. Maybe sometimes you might have wherein there is a lot of commotion happening, a lot of protests also happening in the same place, and if you're there just coming to maybe enjoy with your family, it can be challenging, right? So you would deserve like a separate thing. So that is something we'll look into. What else was that?
I think we're short for time.
But no, we can take the questions. You can. Yeah.
Might be longer to cover injury concerns.
Yeah. Carolus, you want to take the injury bit as it falls in your.
Comment to me, it's in not only to me, but objectively, it is responsibility of things. Many people speaking about medical team, but medical team is treating injuries and load management creating injuries. This plus let's say personal lifestyle of players as well, professionalism, basic things of sleep and nutrition part. So that's I mean, important part coming from personal motivation, important part coming from trainings, and that it's not a secret, especially last season, not this season, but season ago it basically killed us, these injuries. But this season wasn't that bad, but still I believe can be less. So yeah, obviously important topic. We have also big attention also to for future, for people who coming to the club, and yeah, big attention to that. No doubt about that.
And just Ajay, to add on to your question about the training ground, you would have seen in my slide that we are prioritizing infrastructure. So I can officially confirm to you guys that we will have our own training ground from next season. It's already under construction, and we are in a phase wherein it's expected to be completed before preseason. That's a landmark moment for the club. Obviously, as you know, we were working with sports council grounds before, but this is a long-term play. With at least a minimum of 10 years that we've committed to this. Construction already underway, will be ready before preseason, state of the art. And we'll reveal the location once everything is ready, and then we'll have pictures, etc., for you guys to share. But yeah, this is done, and will be ready in a couple of months. And just sorry, Abhijit, I think you misunderstood me when I said culture has to come from the fans. What I meant is the culture of the city determines what flavor a club takes on, because a club will always come after the city. Club doesn't come before a city develops. So every club imbibes the flavor of the place, right? Every city will have its own flavor. Calcutta different, Kochi different, Jamshedpur different. And what a local club or a club in that place will do is derive the values of that place. Barcelona did not have these registered from 2 BC, right? They took on these values because these are the Catalonian values that Catalan has. So it is a reflection of what flavor the city has, what sort of a nature do people have. That is what then club take and then mold it into what their visions and objective for that particular place will be, right? It can add a few of its own. Sustainability, when you spoke about sustainability, you said, oh, when Barcelona says, is because because you are contradicting your own self with this. I'll explain why. Sustainability, one aspect of it is promoting young players, creating your own players. But then you become sad when we sell players. How is this going to work if you don't give them a pathway?
If I just can,
So
if I can,
this thing is a little complex to maybe put into just one line. Sustainability is not only that; it's much more. It's about even Barcelona is having super trouble navigating financial issues. They couldn't register 2 players before the season started. So what sustainability are we talking about here? That club was going to almost go bankrupt. They had to sell inventory 100 years in advance to fund what they have now. So understand what I'm trying to say. These are words very easy to throw because we are looking at a very different model, right? But then again, when it comes to Kerala Blasters, again, we have to wipe that slate clean and not have any reference because that would work for that place. What has to work for us, like we are discussing here, has to be completely different. But I do get your point that people are losing an emotional connect. Sometimes we can help it, like Carolis mentioned, sometimes we cannot because a player also sometimes wants to leave after 4 or 5 years. He wants to try a different experience. A lot of people don't know, maybe they lose motivation behind the scenes. They cause a lot of toxicity within the group. So sometimes you have to take those decisions, maybe unpopular, but not avoidable. And in some cases, like a club has to sustain, if there are values that we cannot match somebody on in terms of absurd salaries, we have to take that call, right? Because we need to balance it basis. You have to be fair to people who are at the club also. You cannot make somebody so big, and it has happened at this club before, that person goes beyond what the club is. That can never happen. It has to be within the constraints and within the limitations of what we stand for as a group. And I can vouch for this at least. I know it's not showing immediate results, but it will give results. And there are clubs who've been stubborn enough to stick with their philosophy and it's won them things, right? So it's a question of eliminating all the other things and mistakes that we're doing. I'm really confident that it'll bring it all together and we will be having success.
Okay, thank you, Abhik. On that note, unfortunately, guys, there are 3 points: referee issue, protest miscommunication, and fan registration process.
Sorry, with the protest thing, Gokul, what happens is any fan group before it comes to the stadium with banners of a provocative nature is supposed to take permission from us at least 3 days before the game. In all the cases where Manjapata said, and everybody at that time jumped onto the bandwagon and smashed the club, you have to declare all provocative banners or any banners that you want to bring into the club before you arrive with them at the stadium. No permission was taken. In both cases, people came with their lungis inside out with messages printed on them. And when they were frisked at the entry, they refused to show what they were carrying inside. Nothing was declared. In the last game, they asked me for permission for the banner. I gave it to them. It's on this mail. In both cases, they did not declare any of the banners that they want, the banner about insert coin to save KBFC. No permission was taken. Why those permissions are taken? Because the league also fines us in case there is a provocative banner which is spoiling the image of the game. We have to be within those boundaries. I don't know if you guys saw what happened with East Bengal and Mohun Bagan when there was an issue, which is why we always have to give permission for those banners to be displayed. And I have never not given permission. When it has come and when they asked for the last game, can you please permit this? I allowed it. But in all the other cases, Sushen, to my knowledge, no permission was taken. Banners were smuggled inside T-shirts, inside lungis. Obviously, as a matter of public safety, you will be frisked. And if you refuse to comply, there will be issues. So it's a very one-sided story again, PR problem. Put out and everybody jumped on the bandwagon. I've seen tweets from journalists saying, I don't recognize my club anymore. What has this come to? But that's not the truth. Again, we felt it best to not fling mud because it's already too much and we didn't want to enter this. But I come to you with proof on paper and not, I'm not just saying this. So anything that has come to us for permission, we've always allowed. which is, and that's why what I said, there was no miscommunication. But when you do not take permission and when these things are smuggled inside or hidden, and then when you have to check and this comes out, we don't control police and security measures. It's taken by the league itself in for public safety. So yeah, that was that.
So the clear communication is that, Abhik, you are not. It was not the content which had the problem, but it was the process that didn't follow. You're following correctly?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys. So we're completely out of time. Whatever other issues are there, please you can bank them, or you can reach out. I think directly to Abhik or relevant members of the club. They will get back to you. So guys, I think we can conclude our first fan advisory board meeting. I think given that we've run out of time after extending also shows that this is the tone that we wanted to set to have a productive session, and this is we've set the tone, and it's given us a great taste of what the fan advisory board will eventually evolve to be, and we hope that we can get it to a place where it's all in the best interest for the club. Now, on an ending note, guys, for everyone here and international members as well, we have some goodies for you guys. And Abhik, if you want to make just announce that in terms of what comes with the card.
So for everybody here, you can make them jealous, but we are giving you your own personalized FAB member card, which allows you free access to every Kerala Blaster game, home and away, right? We want you to have that privilege. And for those not here, we'll try and get these across to you as soon as possible, so that when you do come and visit, when you come, even if you're watching an away game, we'll get the tickets on us. So that is, a commitment from our side, obviously. And thank you so much for everything. I felt it was a really very positive discussion, and whatever we couldn't capture due to the limitations of time, let's organize it well so that we can capture it in the next meeting. And ideas can keep flowing both ways to improve the communication. And I think Josephine is there to mediate, and we've taken a lot on board. And at least in the immediate term, some of the suggestions that you made, we'll try and work on them ASAP.
Yeah, okay. So international members will reach out to you. We'll get in touch with you about how to go about this. And of course, there are still a few things to iron out in terms of any other external social media handles or bodies or anything. We'll iron those things out, given that it's the first meeting. But very productive. And I think for everyone at the table internationally and behind the scenes as well, a big round of applause for the first fan advisory board meeting. And I think we can wrap it up. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, and we'll be in touch and see you next time.